And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with a mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Goddess Lakshmi, Smile Upon Me. O Goddess Lakshmi, smile upon me, cast thy sight on us unto me, awaken me from my long, long dream. In the garden of my life, let every leaf that blows in the wind turn into radiant gold. Let every flower become a perfect gem that lights up my lonely heart. O Goddess Lakshmi, grant me the vision of thy lotus feet on the sands of eternity. Inspire me to climb the mystic mountain. Let my soul become a cascading stream of your grace, carrying a love unknown to all who walk on earth. O Goddess Lakshmi, smile upon me. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is April the 9th, 2021, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 247. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Neelambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas, the Ramayana by Swami Tulsidas ji, Aranyakand, known as the third sopan of the Ramayana. Presently, Sri Rama has decided to find another place more secure to spend his balance of forest life duration. But in this process, he first goes to Atri ashram, Atri Anasuya. And Sage Atri offered prayers to Rama. The philosophical insight I have given to you. Atri is a negation of triad. So that spiritual movement that negates triad, that's Sage Atri, whom he is married to Anasuya. Anasuya is absence of jealousy. Absence of jealousy implies divine virtue. So, two-aspected progress to transcend the three relative state of consciousness, seer, seen, and sight. And along with it, to possess divine virtues. One side is wisdom, but wisdom becomes dry if you don't have virtues. Anasuya represents that virtuous quality. Binati kari muni nai siru kaha kar jori bahori chanan saroruha nata jani kamahta jay mati mori. Sage Atri offered prayers. And bowing his head with folded hands, he said, "O Lord, give me that type of buddhi that I will never be separated from the lotus feet of yours." अनुसुईया के पद गही सीता मिली बहोरी सुशील विनीता ऋषि पत्नी मन सुख अधिकाई आशीष देई निकट बैठाई. And Sita ji met Anasuya, Atri's wife. Having touched her lotus feet, she sat close to the Devi, Anasuya. Anasuya was very pleased. And she blessed Sita Devi. Meeting of Sita Devi with Anasuya. Sita Devi herself is symbolic of Viveka Buddhi. How does Viveka Buddhi become spiritually embellished? By Anasuya, divine virtues. They are the ornaments of Viveka Buddhi. And divine insight is the clothing of Viveka Buddhi. allegorically, that Viveka Buddhi is Sita Devi, and she is receiving blessings of Anasuya. Divya basan bhushan pahiraye, je nit nutan amal suhaye, kah rishi badhu saras medubani, nari dharma kachu vyaja bakhani. Devi Anasuya offered to Sita Devi divine clothings and ornaments. These clothings remain ever new, as well as the ornaments. Day by day, they appear fresh. This is all allegorical. People in business may look for that type of clothing that will stay fresh and will not need any washing. But that's a different matter. Divine virtues that begin to develop in an aspirant who is perfect in the practice of integral movement, integral yoga. The virtues that you develop, they continue to wax, continue to advance. Any tree, as it grows, day by day, it gets renewed. So that aspect of spiritual progress is presented by this description, that the ornaments of Sita Devi, the ornaments given by Anasuya, they do not become embellished, rather they do not become tainted. They continue to be embellished. And the clothing she gave is spiritual insights. Kaharishi badhu sarasam ridubani, nari dharma kuch baj vyaj bakhani. And Anasuya Devi, in her sweet and soft voice, gave some instructions regarding dharma of women. In Hindi language is Stri Dharma, as well as in Sanskrit. Literally it means the teachings are directed only for women. And men are completely left behind. Or in close relationship, intimate relationship between husband and wife, the teaching seems to be focused on what wife should do. All that disciplines and all the develop all virtuous qualities, and man is left behind. That's what to the masses Nari Dharma implies. But the real meaning behind it, all souls are Nari. God is the husband. Following the path of yoga, you have to observe Nari Dharma. You have to develop love of God that is unflinching, untainted, pure. So that's the subtle essence behind this episode. Matu pita mata bhrata hitakari mitaprad sab sunu Rajakumari, Amitadani Bharata Bayadehi, Adham Sonari Jo Sevanatehi. O princess, Anasuya is addressing Sita. Listen. In close relationships, such as mother, father, brother, they mutually help each other. They do good to each other. But the relationship that exists between husband and wife, that's special. And fidelity to husband is the greatest virtue of a woman. I've already told you it's both sides. In the moral behind it is not one-sided, that the wife should observe all good qualities and fidelity, and man can go on drinking and gambling and rumbling and tumbling. The message is both ways. Husband must conduct himself in a way that it is spiritually advantageous for his wife. Wife should do similarly. The real help is to promote spiritual progress in each other. And that should be the insight behind all relations, and especially behind close relation between husband and wife. In this relationship, husband is the giver of boundless bliss. The husband becomes moksha, liberation. Soul is the wife. Wedded to Brahman is soul is wedded to moksha, liberation. That woman is low class who does not serve her husband, implying that soul that does not love God and move towards God realization, that soul is adham, at low level. Dhiraj dharma mitra arunari, आपद काल परिखियहि चारी, वृद्ध रोग बसधर जड़ धनहीना, अंध बधिर को क्रोधी अति दीना. 4 points are very highlighted in human life. Dhairya, patience. Among your virtuous qualities, you should have patience. And you should conduct in a righteous manner. The first one called dhairya, patience, endurance. Next one is called righteous deed. No matter how challenging a situation, you should not move away from righteousness. And when dealing with friend, you should not maintain friendship in only cute and cozy situations. I'm joking. Your friendship should continue even in most challenging situations. Otherwise, your friendship is shallow, and that's not real friendship. And the wife is she is truly, really good wife, it is through challenging situations you come to realize or recognize the goodness of wife as well as of your husband. This point I have explained. Dhairya, dharma, mitra and stri. These are tested during adverse situations. In pleasant situations, you can have a whole crowd of relations around you, but it is all shallow. Now, what type of test? If the husband is old, aged, and aging, don't look for a new match. So that's your test. No matter how aged he becomes. And if suffers from a disease, rogi, or suddenly loses his mental balance, dementia, or loses his business, becomes poor, or loses his eyesight, or hearing, or loses the control of his temper, and becomes exceedingly miserable. In spite of all that, your love should continue to be youth-end. And this goes both ways. For a wife towards the husband, and husband towards wife. If wife becomes sick, aging, and develops all those negative traits, in spite of that, love should not be shaken. Otherwise, the love between husband and wife is shallow, superficial, and is a basis of maintaining karmic bondage. ऐसे हु पति कर की अपमाना, नारी पाव जमपुर दुख नाना. Even in this challenging circumstances, if a wife insults her husband, she suffers from hellish sufferings in Yamaloka. This allegorical statement. After death, or even during life, she encounters adverse situations led by negative karma. And it continues even after death. एक ही धर्म एक व्रत नेमा, काय बचन मत पति पद प्रेमा. For a woman, there is only one dharma, loving the feet of her husband. And there is only one type of vow to be maintained. To love her husband at all cost, in all conditions. And as I have said, it applies also from the other side. Husband must have the same vow, same type of sacrificing love towards her husband, towards his wife. Every aspirant, sincere aspirant, is like a pativrata, like a woman observing profound fidelity towards her husband. Every soul is a woman. God is the husband. So all sadhakas should follow the path of Pativrata Dharma. Dharma of wifely fidelity. And these as Pativratas, they are of 4 types. Aspirants are of 4 types. This is the view of Vedas, Puranas, saints and sages. The 4 types. Uttamake asab basamana mahi sapnehu an purusha jaganahi. The best one is one who views her husband as the only man in the whole world and does not have her mind fascinated towards anybody else, even in dream. These are highly allegorical statements. It applies into your daily life and as a social value, and that's perfectly well intended. But at the same time, at deeper level, every soul is a Pativrata, follower of Pativrata Dharma. And the best among aspirants are those for whom God is the only one without a second. And among countless gods, the mind of an aspirant recognizes only one expressing as countless gods. Ishtadevata is the only husband of yours. And all devatas are his different aspects. So you are not deviating from your Ishtadevata. If you have that type of quality in your sadhana, then you are the best aspirant. Uttam. Next is Madhyam. Madhyam is medium. Madhyam parapati dekhai kaise, mata pita putra nij jaise. Those who are in this stage of a moderate type of devotion, they are aware of other husbands, but only they develop a divine attitude towards them. The attitude of their brother, father, son. No lustful or passionate attitude towards anyone. In other words, the moderate type of aspirant recognizes multiplicity of gods and wants to keep up with his devotion to all of them. This will lead to the higher level, but if you stay at this level, you are a moderate aspirant. Dharma vichari samujhika churahai, so nikrishtatriya shruti asakahai. The third type is Nikrishta type. Nikrishta is worst type. And what is that type? one who follows spiritual disciplines out of fear and helplessness. So practicing dharma out of helplessness, not out of your love. Whenever there is some need, some special challenge, you begin to practice a lot of dharma. But when situation changes, your practice simply dwindles into nothing. If that type of sadhana you are doing, then you are lowest type. But there is still another lower level, absolutely worst. बिनु अवसर भय ते रह जोई, जानेहु अधम नारी जग सोई. Those women who remain devoted to their husband out of fear. While all the time their mind is after someone they love, not her husband, somebody else. पति वंशक पर पति रति होई करई, रो रो नरक कल्प सत परई. She deceives her husband and becomes fascinated by husbands of other women and indulges in pleasure. They suffer from hell for thousands of years. Worst hell. क्षण सुख लागी जन्म शत कोटि, दुख न समुझ तेहि सम को कोटि. For momentary pleasure, developing such worst karma that leads the souls to suffer from miseries through countless lives. Such a woman is called dushta, literally meaning wicked, simply implying worst type. But women who, giving up deceit, following Pativrata Dharma in a profound way, they attain the highest goal, liberation, in an effortless manner. So while giving teachings to the society for better relationship, deep behind is the description of 4 types of aspirants: Uttam, Madhyam, Nikrisht and Adham. Sahaj apavani nari, pati sevat, shubha gati lahai, jasu gavat, shruti chari, ajahu tulasika harahi priye. Women are by birth impure. If you take literally, that's what created a lot of confusion. And people went against Ramayana. And a great reform movement created a lot of agitation. That's historical. Soul, the real meaning behind it, the soul during unenlightened state, soul gripped with ignorance is impure. But when the soul begins to love God, all the impurity moves away and soul is led to liberation. And this is sung through all the Vedas and scriptures. They all praise soul's movement to liberation. And this is behind the ritual worship where Tulsi is offered as an act of worship to Lord Narayana. Tulsi's holy basil, and there is a intriguing story of Tulsi given in Puranas that she loved Lord Vishnu to such an extent that it ended up, she was firstly wife of Jalandhar, a great demon. I'm not going into this story, but it ended up both cursing each other. But curse is a pun. Curse is that Lord Vishnu will turn into a little shaligram, a special type of stone, sacred. And Lord Vishnu curses her, she will become a holy basil. But unless the holy basil is offered, puja will not be complete. So that type of relationship developed. And Tulsi plant, apart from being a medicinal herb, has that spiritual sanctity about it. Sunu Sita tab नाम सुमेरी नारी पतिव्रत करहीं तो ही प्राण प्रिय राम कहीं कथा संसार हित. O Sita Devi, you are the ideal, the best of all Pativrats, all women who are following Patibrat Dharma. And you are beloved of Lord Rama. I have told all these teachings to you for the sake of the world. In other words, Sita Devi doesn't need any wisdom. Suni Janaki Param Sukha Pava Sadaratasu Charana Sirunava. Sita Devi was highly pleased And with great respect, she bowed her head at the feet of Anasuya. At this stage, Sri Rama asked Sage Atri that with your permission, I would like to go to another forest and settle there. संतत मोह पर कृपा करेहु, सेवक जानि तजेहु जनि नेहु, धर्म धुरंधर प्रभु कै बानी, सुनि सप्रेम बोले मुनि ज्ञानी. Let your grace shower over me all the time. Consider me as your servant. Never forget me. These words were said by Rama to Sage Atri. And that shows the relationship between devotee and God. God is as if humble personality adoring the devotee. Devotee in turn adores God because they are one and the same. Sage Atri, overwhelmed with love, said to Rama, Jasu kripa aj Shiva sanakadi, chahat sakal paramarthavadi, te tum Ram akam piyare, deen bandhu mridu bachan tu uchare. O Rama, even Brahma, Shiva, sages such as Sanaka and others, they all wish for your grace. This is the description of God, Brahman. You are beloved of those who have no desire for the world. And you are friend of those who possess nothing in this world. अब जानी मैं श्री चतुराई, भजी भजी तुम्हि सब देव बिहाई. Now I understand the cleverness of Lakshmi Devi. She ignored all gods and wedded Lord Narayana. In the storyline, when ocean was churned, Lakshmi Devi arose out of the ocean. Her beauty was so impressive, dynamic, that all gods and demons who were all there, they looked at her with great fascination. But she didn't look at them at all. She was only looking at one who was not looking anywhere else. That was Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu was the only one who didn't look at Lakshmi Devi with lustful fascination. And Lakshmi Devi chose Vishnu for her husband. So that was the cleverness of Lakshmi, Sri Chaturai, whom she chose, one who was detached, one who was beyond the world of attachments and illusions. And in a simple way to understand, Lakshmi movement is Davi Sampat movement. If a soul continues to develop divine virtues, Lakshmi, Prakriti of Lakshmi is flourishing in his personality, and he will be led to realize God. यही समान अतिशय नहीं कोई, ताकर सील कसन अस होई. And therefore, since she chose Vishnu as her husband, in all gracious qualities, Lakshmi Devi excels everyone. कही विधि कहो जाहु अब स्वामी, कहु नाथ तुम अंतर जामी. अस कही प्रभु बिलो की मुनि धीरा, लोचन जल बह पुलक शरीरा. Sejatri is telling Rama, how can I tell you, O Lord, that you should go elsewhere? You are Antaryami, the knower of every heart, an indweller in every heart. While saying this, tears were raining down from his eyes. This is the illustration of romanch and pulak, divine feelings dominate your personality, then these are the symptoms. Not hot tears of misery, but cool tears and horripilation in all over the body. Tana pulak nirbhar prema puran नयन मुख पंकज दिए, मन ज्ञान गुण गोतीत प्रभु मैं दीख जप तप का किए. जप जोग धर्म समूह ते नर भगति अनुपम पावई. रघुबीर चरित पुनीत निशिदिन दास तुलसी गावई. Sage Atri is full of love. His whole body is thrilled. His eyes are focused on the lotus face of Rama. How blessed am I? How wonderfully have I performed my japa and tapa. Led by all that, now I am having the darshan of that God, that Rama, who is beyond mind, beyond intellect, beyond all attributes, beyond all senses. Kalimal saman daman mana Ram sujas sukhamul sadar sunahi je din par Ram rahi anukul. The glory of Lord Rama is the destroyer of sins of Kali Yuga. If you are singing the glory of Rama, that dispels the limitations of Kali Yuga, the limitations of the world process. This is conducive to control of mind and the source of real happiness. Those people who listen to the glory of Rama with devotion, Lord Rama is pleased with them. And with this, we conclude for now. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras, grace of God. May that grace shower over all of you with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Are there any questions?